pledge allegiance to the flag Thank you, everybody, for coming this evening. It's December 4th meeting, 1:30 p.m. Call to order. Bruce, we have proof of notice and established a quorum, please?
Notice was correctly given, and we have a quorum. Physically, we have 3 of the 5 members physically present.
And the mics are pretty low. Can we turn these mics up a little bit, Joe?
We physically have 3 of the 5 members physically present, and Robin is available via telephone. So we do have a quorum.
Thank you.
I'd also like to make a motion that we approve the meeting minutes from the November 6th and November 11th with the following corrections on the November 11th meeting. November 13th, I'm sorry. The corrections should be that Jerry Evans provided a review of the proposed 2019 operating budget, not the 2018. On the action item should be that the assessment rates are quarterly rates. That was not specified in the draft minutes. Also, correction of Linda Blaze's spelling on the public comment, and a note that the next meeting was announced as December 4th, 2018 at the adjournment time.
What time was that?
At 1:30 p.m. Oh, the adjournment time? I wasn't here, so I don't have that info. Do we have that?
We'll have to get that adjournment time from the tape, but I'll make a motions with, for these, to approve these minutes with the corrections.
I'll second.
And Jerry will also add the adjournment time to that.
And I'll second the motion.
Any comments? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Robin, do you approve that? You there, Robin? I think we lost Robin. Robin, you there? I think we lost her, Don. I don't know. All right, motion passes on that. Minutes have been approved. Correspondence, Bruce?
Okay, we had 52 items of correspondence received. I'm going to be consolidating some of those comments where there were several related comments.
So that you're not interrupted by this? You want to just...
I'm supposed to do that.
I know. And there'll be a charge for this comedy act.
I get the money.
It is. I told her you were calling her.
Holding this meeting up just for you.
Yes. We'll make the motion for agenda as we go through the course of
Robin,
comments.
where'd you go? Okay, we're gonna put you on speaker again. Okay. Say something.
hang that up and I'll put the speaker.
Are you there, Robin?
I am here.
I
All
think
right.
she's here.
I think we got you.
Okay, 52 correspondence received. One was for follow-up on the proposal that the Tennis Players Club had sent to the Board of Directors asking the status of that. A comment of report of dogs in the town center. 3 reports dealing with lights out, either in walkways or light posts. 3 land care related, 1 praise, 2 requesting additional services. There were 8 Comcast related requests, and Robin has replied to all of those. There was a question on whether bocce court reservation is allowed, and it was answered that there's no reservations, first come, first serve. 2 comments on pool maintenance in regard to pool rails. A question about a post office lock change. 2 comments on empty hand sanitizer dispensers in the fitness center. Requests for more pool furniture at the lap pool. Comments on of support for a dock for the sailing club. A hypothetical roofing question as regard to their community requirements. A question on hurricane shutters. Question on screened-in porch on townhomes. Praise for the community condition. A comment on electric bike safety. Question on the 2019 assessments as far as the change and where they were posted. Availability of meeting videos. I guess one meeting video was not available, didn't work. A question on HOA fee account, how to get information on their own personal account. A comment hoping that the new tenant in Suite 700 will have non-smoking at the tables, and that was verified that that will be the case. Request for an email blast, and that was posted on Nextdoor instead of an email blast. Request for streetlights on Bonita Beach Road, and at least for now that is not on the table. Parking issue, praise for the new metal fence, praise for holiday decorations. 2 requests for playground improvements. A request for a nativity scene at the town center. A request for information on the tennis scheduling monitor. A request for a drone policy that falls under FAA rules and not the town center. Request for removal of the windscreens on the tennis court, that's in progress. A question on the 2019 budget versus Comcast increases, and those were considered when the budget was made. Requests to clean up our email blast list of non-residents. A request for approved plants list, Robin supplied that. Question on pressure washing sidewalks. A report of the holidays out, lights out at the northwest corner, and a complaint of Fox News versus CNN in the fitness center. As soon as the new TV the last TV is installed, I'm not sure on the status of that, but both will be available continuously.
Thank you, Bruce. President's comments, we'll address that one right off the bat. The new TV in the fitness center, we're waiting for Comcast to give us the other courtesy outlet for that, and that will be up and running. There's also a new app that you can get now so that if you want to listen to the TV with a set of headphones while you're working out, it's an app that'll go onto your phone, and you can pick any TV that you want. you scan the TV and it'll bring that sound up onto your phone. So that's in the works. I want to give a thanks to Paul Johnson, if he's here, and his crew that worked on all that. That was quite a bit of work over the weekend, and they did a good job with that. Also tonight, I do have to pick an election committee chairperson, so Ray Dobbins, please stand up to the mic. And we can all throw tomatoes.
Yes, you can.
Ray, you're going to have to get together with the town manager, and he'll give you the schedule on setting that up. There's also quite a few people that have a history of working with that committee, and it'd be to your advantage to use their knowledge and bring them into your committee. Robin Burke's sister, when she comes back, she can give you a great hand with that too if Robin's not running. If Robin's running, then there's a little bit of bias there, and we may not be able to do that. Okay. But there's quite a few people out there like Kelly Short and Sandra Gibbons. Those people have an enormous amount of knowledge on what has to be done, and they can help you through that. So okay. Thank you very much.
Okay, this appointment comes at a total shock, but I do have prepared some comments. I just wanted to say seriously, thank you for giving me this opportunity to serve our community. I'm confident that our team, when assembled, will do a great job for Village Walk. We are hopeful to get many excellent candidates who are willing to serve our community and to complement this great board of ours that continues to amaze each and every day. Thank you.
Thank you. Pickleball project update on that. We've received an approval from the South Florida Water Management District on that project. That's half of the process. It now has to go through a 2-week review with the city of Bonita Springs, and that should be no problem since we got the hard part done. So we'll know more in a couple weeks, and then that project should move forward. Fitness Center, everybody knows what happened there. It's open. We're going to have a grand opening this Monday coming up. I believe it's from 1 to 4. So please stop in. You'll learn a little bit more about how the equipment works. They're going to have some refreshments and stuff there for you. And Tom and Paul will be there to show you what they know about the equipment. So that's important if you want to use that equipment properly. We do have to emphasize the fact that those pieces of equipment do have a proper way to be used, and please learn how to do that so that we don't have damage to the equipment. Paver project, we are now moving on to the golf cart parking. That will begin on Monday this week coming up, so please forgive some of the disturbance there. We'll get through it and get it cleaned up and moved on. Bill and Land Care and some of the landscaping committee have worked hard on what type of bushes that we can put around that to somewhat conceal, but yet still make it look uniform to the rest of the community. Restaurant awning, RWA, our engineer, has pushed that on to the city. They're about 2 weeks out on that approval, and that will move forward. The perimeter of the tennis court is in process right now. They should finish it, if not this afternoon, tomorrow, and that should prevent any more erosion around those courts. So I'm happy to see that moving forward. Concrete repairs, the gentleman said he'd be in this week. Obviously, he's not a gentleman, he's not here. So we'll continue to make phone calls and see where they're at. But we have about 30 different locations that we're going to try to attend to this time around. And I do appreciate everybody sending in information on sidewalks that they see are damaged or need some attention, and I have made another list, so we at some point will approach the board to have another list approved, and we'll move forward with correcting those issues. Firehouse fence, I hope everybody has seen it, and I think it looks really good out there. Again, Bill and the landscaping committee and Land Care are working to come up with some type of landscaping proposal for the front of that to dress that up a little bit. And I think that'll be a good spotlight as you come around that corner, a focal point. Also, the big thing that's everybody's probably been questioning us on is what's going on with the old sweet shop. Well, we're in the process of getting hole-in-one bagels from 41 South, right near Mel's. Thank you for clapping. If you haven't been down there, you should. We're a few weeks out of finalizing all that, but they are very interested and anxious to get started. Jerry's working on finalizing the lease that we're going to sign on that, and we'll let you know when that's completed. That pretty much ends my comments, other than I understand George H.W. Bush passed away, so we can take a second for that if you like. I don't really put politics into this meeting, but we should recognize that he did pass and he was our president. So God bless George H.W. Bush. Vice President's comments.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, still there, Robin?
I'm still here. Am I coming across okay?
Yes, you are.
All right, great. I noticed on the agenda we neglected to put Comcast on there, and I just wanted to make some quick comments on Comcast. First of all, our installation status. As of November 30th, we have had 863 installs completed, and we have 148 appointments scheduled for installation. So we've passed our halfway point here, and hopefully we can get everybody else scheduled very shortly. That brings me to channel 195. This morning I was on the phone with the technician as he was in the town center, and one of the things that he alerted me to is that we will have much more success with channel 195 once we have everyone on fiber optic. Apparently there's some other equipment that they will install that will ensure, you know, our better reception. So again, I encourage everybody to get fiber optic. Let's just get this conversion done so that Comcast can install everything they need to and get us up and running properly. We did also do a quick restoration tour with Comcast before I left a few weeks ago, and we rode around and we looked at the community. It was Matt and Jerry, myself, and representatives of Comcast as well as their subcontractor. We checked out areas for sod restoration, and they have really done a great job with replacing sod. You know, especially the southeast corner, we were concerned about where they had been storing equipment, and they seem to have really done a nice job there. And we continue to try to water a little more to make sure that sod takes. As far as mulch, Comcast has given us monetary compensation for mulch, and we are just going to include that mulching in with our mulch project that will take place in January. We thought that that was a much better use of the money rather than just dumping a bag here and there. We'll just do it all together. The other thing I have on the agenda is Town Center interior refresh, and it breaks my heart that I'm not there to see all this. You know, before I left, we did get the painting and the carpet finished, you know, in that one wing, but I have seen the pictures that the chairs in the card area did arrive on Friday, and thanks to many elves in the community, those chairs were all unboxed and placed yesterday. So I thank Marilyn, Sharon, Matt, and any others who were there helping to unbox and place them all. The place really looks wonderful. We are now going to we're working on the artwork and getting that put up in place. So I know that Marilyn and Sharon are working with our maintenance staff, and we have some new art pieces that have been purchased, as well as some that we felt were still great for us to reuse. So you'll see that taking place. As far as the fireplace area, the TV area, and the lobby, that furniture is still on order. We have been experiencing the delay that I'm sure many of you see as residents, that you know, when you order a material, it comes from China or wherever, and some of them have very long lead times. So we have furniture that will be coming in within the next month and a half, and as it comes in, we will set it in place. We also have new area rugs that will be put in front of the fireplace. There's one in front of the TV. So changes will continue to happen, and by the end of January, fingers crossed, we'll be all finished with that area, and we'll be focused on the ballrooms. That's all I have.
Thanks, Robin. Treasury's report. Bill.
Thank you. First of all, I would just like to talk about or thank our holiday design team, Mike Coble, who chaired it, Keith Shaw, Jay Hebert, Bruce Potterton, board liaison. It was very challenging for those who were not here or who were and saw it from the sidelines. It was very challenging as the town center painting project was underway as the holiday decoration install had begun. So it was a real logistical challenge, and we're delighted by the results. I'd also like to thank the Garden Club. They have given the community 4 planted containers that are placed in the commercial arcade in front of the restaurant along that walkway. President Cheryl Gedris and prize-winning container gardener Val Shaha, who planted them. Thank you, Val. I see Val in the room today. Thanks have been extended to Paul Johnson and his team for the fitness center. That's really a great addition for the community also. And before I get into the full finances, I just wanted to remind people that our resale transfer fee will increase January 1. We approved it at the last board meeting to $1,320 per sale, an increase from $1,150. The finances. We do not have the November numbers yet, but looking at year-to-date October, our expenses are running under budget. The budget was about $6.2 million, and our actual expenses are $5.8 million. Of that, $200,000 is the mulch, which is not going to be installed this year, so we'll be picking up that $200,000 charge, and we are still about $128,000 under budget on expenses, thanks, I believe, to close control of our expenses and monitoring it, and we expect a lot of that savings to fall to the bottom of the line, the bottom line at the end of the year. Regarding receivables, we will have several motions later in this meeting to shut off fob access and to send some accounts to legal. We took a vote at the last meeting to change our legal representation for collections. It has been a number of months before we've shut off any fobs, and the receivables outstanding as of yesterday, 152,000. That is down from 204,000 a month ago. Of that, about $58,000 is within a 60-day period, and 93,000 is over 90 days. Special assessment collections, we've collected all but 25 properties. We have $15,300 still due on the special assessment, and that's a reduction from 35 unpaid accounts a month ago. So we're moving that forward. Our motion, as I mentioned, to suspend gate privileges and fob use will be for 28 properties with amounts over 60 days due of an amount over $1,500. We're still concerned about the reconciliation between the management company shift, and staff is working diligently on that, looking at the accounts. I encourage everyone who has a balance carried that they see on their statement with questions, provide the proof to us so that we can follow through and get this off our books. We are also going to be making a motion to clean up some accounts. It's a small amount of money, but amounts under $20 that are being carried. We're going to vote today to write those off just to clean up our books at year end. The had another item on my agenda today, the covenants rewrite. I see Sandy Gibbons is here today. She chairs the rewrite committee. We have received a letter of opinion from the law firm, and we have answered some questions that they had and provided some direction, and we are still awaiting a first draft from Chandler and Katzman. They have told us that our timeline of getting a completed document by the time of our annual meeting is still feasible. That remains to be seen, but the committee and the board and management are working closely on that, and we'll keep everyone informed of developments. Is that Sandy? Okay. The other item, not financially related, Something that I've talked about before and has been a priority of mine is expanding a color palette for the homes within Village Walk. I have put together a list of 10 additions from our existing colors that I would like the board to approve so that we may expand and enhance the look of the community. I also have complementary trim colors for shutters, and that is 8 different colors also. This expanded choice of body colors, they're all Sherwin-Williams paint colors. They're identified by color code and name. Acceptable gutter, window trim, and door color will be white. It will continue to be white. Garage doors will be white only, or body color of house with a white trim surround. The homeowner may repaint a home existing color if they don't like any of these colors, and I have chips if someone wants to look at them at the end of the meeting. Our condition will be no two neighboring homes the same color, and agreement by owners under the same roof to paint both sides of attached homes the same color. The expanded palette is neutral with Mary Scanlon, our neighbor. We've driven a lot of new communities and gotten a lot of information on this. We feel these changes will update the look and will be consistent with the competition in the area. These new colors will be compatible with existing home colors, pavers, roofs, bridges, in all quadrants. So that is a good part. And of the 10 colors, 11 colors that I have here, 3 have been used on our town center, the entry monument, the gatehouse, and those are called Sandbar, Stone Lion, and Greek Villa. Some complementing colors for shutters. I have those listed also with numbers. I've supplied other board members with this detail and copies of the colors. So I just wanted to update the community. We've gotten a lot of requests for people eager to repaint their homes, in some cases homes that don't even need painting. They just want a fresher look, and that is an option that this board would like to give our residents. And that is my report.
Thanks, Bill. I just want the board, the body here to understand how thankful I am for Bill. He's very thorough in everything that he does, not only with the numbers, but also with these color choices. So I think you guys will be very happy. He's put his time in, and he's very passionate about this change, and I think it'll enhance the whole community with new colors. With that said, Secretary's comments. Bruce.
Okay, I have a few comments. The first, as most of you, I'm sure, have seen, the holiday decorations are pretty much all done. I think we're still waiting for the vendor to provide wreaths and garlands for the bridge nearest the town center on Village Walk Boulevard. Other than that, the decorations are done. Comments have been primarily positive, and we've been taking some notes on possible fine-tuning for next year, but probably fairly similar display for next year. Brief notice, by next board meeting, I hope to have an action item on a contract for improving our security cameras that we have throughout the facility. Some of them have been outdated. There were quite a few views that would be critical for liability issues that were not covered very well. So we've gotten proposals from a couple companies, and we hope to have a proposal for that by the next board meeting. Also, we have in the plans, we're getting proposals for an update on the meeting rooms here. They will be refurbished physically, but we're also working on a tech makeover for them, including better screens, better visibility, and more flexibility in providing sound to the different rooms and controlling that. We're still evaluating the telephone system. If there is a proposal needed, that will be ready by the next board meeting. We're still evaluating whether our present equipment and system, if slightly reworked, will be adequate for our needs here. In any case, we should see a reduction in our phone costs for the next year. And we're still working on evaluating IT consultants. And that's my report on technology.
Bruce, thank you. Jerry, General Manager's comments, please.
Thank you. Can you hear me? My first item is compliance, and received a couple of emails recently, one as recent as last week, regarding roofs in particular. So I just wanted to highlight to everybody what we're doing along those lines. Kimberly, Assistant General Manager.
Let me see. Okay, it's on.
Is this better? So Kimberly, our Assistant General Manager, rolled out the compliance program, and in the last 30 days, she has sent 25 violations for dirty roofs, and she's sent 33 other types of violations, which she notices on routine inspections and which she's out doing other things. So I wanted to explain a little bit about that. If manpower and resources was not an issue, certainly that 25 for dirty roofs would probably be around 100 or more. But she's picking and choosing, and meaning that she's going quad by quad and picking the worst ones first. And quite honestly, it's not the actual effort of going out and identifying the roofs that takes the time involved with that task. It's the subsequent phone calls, emails, visitations, and whatnot. So we're also finding out that a lot of these folks are needing 2 or 3 weeks, sometimes 6 weeks, to schedule the cleaning. So once she goes out in her first rounds, these 25, the dust settles a little bit, then she'll start on the second quad and do those 25, and then repeat to 3 and 4, and then circle back again to 1, 2, 3, and 4, and get a little bit the ones that aren't quite as bad at that point. So anyway, just wanted to give everybody a little bit of background on that. Second thing I have, Matt already talked a little bit to, and that is to the retail lease space, and we have agreed in principle to the terms. We're just right now probably a day away from solidifying the language. I'll give it to the board for a final review, and we'll get signatures. And realistically, we're hoping for January 1. Worst case scenario, I'm thinking February 1. Realistically, hopefully January 15th is kind of what we're seeing right now. And as we move along each week, we should probably know a little bit, have a better idea on the exact date. And the last comment I have is on the 2019 coupons. Everybody knows the 2019 budget was approved with no increases. You will get coupons from KW Property Management, our corporate office. Those were approved on November 26th by our corporate office, and they said 7 to 10 days before homeowners receive them. So we're thinking realistically, by December 15th, you should have them in your hands for the January 1 payment. And that is my report.
Thanks, Jerry. Jerry did mention retail space, so I'm going to bring something up that's probably not on everybody's mind, but our restaurant, I'm assuming everybody likes it. Just as a reminder, you have to support the restaurant, try to go there, support it, but also don't forget that the customers have to tip. That's what pays the salaries of some of those employees. I understand, I'm just letting you know that to keep good employees, we got to make sure we support them also. So keep that in mind. To move on, I'd like to make a motion to change the action item list tonight. I'd like to add one. So we'd add, I guess, number H, and that will be the dome light. Can I get a second on that motion?
I'll second.
Any comment?
Well, I think the motion should be a little more specific than that.
Well,
but,
just going to add, we're just making a motion to change the list, not
Okay.
on the motion itself.
Okay.
So we're making a motion to change the action item list. No comments, all in favor of changing the list?
Matt, I'm sorry,
Yes.
I couldn't hear what it is you're adding.
We're just changing, we're making a motion to change the list. I'm going to add the dome light,
Oh, dome light. Okay, thank you.
but we're making a motion to actually change the list. There may be some other additional items put on the list, but right now we're making a motion to change the list. The motion was seconded. I'm asking for comments. Are there any comments? To change the list? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion to change the list, say aye.
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 Thank you. Now that we have that motion, I'd like to add dome list on it as H. Is there any other additions?
Yes, if the board is open to putting a motion to expand the Village Walk home color palette, then I have the material for that.
We can put it on for a discussion, but it has
Okay.
to be on there to discuss.
Okay, then I would
So
request it be added.
J would be a palette change. Aye. Oh,
Aye.
I skipped I. I is not in my vocabulary, sorry. Alrighty, with those two additions, first action item tonight is collection thresholds. Jerry?
So I'm going to read the memo I gave to the board on this. In efforts of cleaning up year-end financials, I'm proposing the board authorize the association to waive low balances under $20. And of note, this will be a one-time waiving, and we might consider it again next year at the end of the year. I'm also proposing the threshold for fob and bar deactivations be established at with delinquent accounts at $1,500 or greater. And I would note at the end of the first quarter, I will recommend lowering that threshold from $1,500 to as low as $100. Lastly, I'm proposing the threshold for sending delinquent accounts to the attorney be established at $1,500 or greater. And again, at the end of the first quarter, we may end up lowering that to $500. So I recommend the board make a motion authorizing the association to waive low balances under $20, deactivating fobs and barcodes on delinquent accounts at $1,500 or greater threshold, and sending delinquent accounts to the attorney at a threshold of $1,500.
Why isn't this three separate motions?
The first motion is establishing the thresholds. The second motion would be making a motion for the specific lots to send to the attorney and to deactivate. This one motion is for collection thresholds.
Just as the threshold set point. Then the next motion, if you look on the agenda, will be for actually sending them to the attorneys. We need a motion and a second before we can have a discussion on it, though. So I'll make a motion that we do as Jerry said with these balances and threshold limits. I need a second, and then we can have a discussion on that.
I would clarify it to say that the association will waive low balances under $20.
I would like to see added a one-time.
Jerry, I think you actually sent us what you wanted the motion to read. So I have that in front of me, and it says, I recommend the board make a motion authorizing the association to waive low balances under $20, deactivating fobs and barcodes on delinquent accounts at a $1,500 or greater threshold, and sending delinquent accounts to the attorney at a threshold of $1,500. So I make that motion.
We're asking for the motion to be modified, Robin, so that it says one-time $20 balance reduction. So it's just a one-time deal for the $20.
Okay.
So you're okay with that motion change?
I'm great with that.
So we're going to add in there, Jerry, that's a
Got
one-time
it.
thing. With that said, I still need a second on that motion.
Second.
Okay. Any comments from the floor?
Quick question.
Sure.
When you send it to the attorney, do they charge a fee?
Yes?
So at the same time that you're deactivating their fobs, you're sending it to the attorney.
Right, and you pay the fee. They pay the fee, not us.
No, I'd like to provide a clarification on that. This motion, the intent of this motion is to clean up the books at year-end 2018 because we have a list of about 20 accounts with amounts under under $20. The total in the aggregate it's $116. So that's the impact of this. This is a year-end to clean up the books. We're not really addressing ongoing policy to write off low balances. This is a year-end in an effort to clean up the books.
But the second part of this with the thresholds, once we get to that next motion, you'll see that those will be sent to the attorney's office, and yes, you will acquire a fee when it goes there. Any other comments? Comments from the board?
Just that I'm in favor of it. I think we're still in a housekeeping mode, so everyone knows we're going through these accounts line by line, and we want to start off the year as clean as possible. And this is a first step towards eliminating these minor amounts that could be clerical errors of the past that we just want to move beyond.
Any other comments from the board? Robin, any comments from you?
None here.
Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion passed. Second action item, delinquent home barcode and amend fob deactivation.
I recommend the Board of Directors make a motion to deactivate fobs and barcodes on the following 26 delinquent accounts at $1,500 or greater. Lot 55, 140, 241, 402, 429, 489, 624, 640, 533, 537, 207, 310, 991, 1219, 1478, 9, 73, 556, 743, 767, 913, 1046, 1069, 1084, and 1164.
I'd entertain a motion on that.
I'd like to make a motion to deactivate the fobs and barcodes on the delinquent accounts, $1,500 and greater, as mentioned by Jerry Evans.
And we're going to add address number 753 in there also. One was, he skipped. Second on that motion?
I'll second that.
Comments from the floor? Seeing none, comments from the board? Hearing none, the motion was made and seconded by the board. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion passed.
The next motion, I recommend the Board of Directors make a motion to send the following delinquent accounts at $1,500 or greater to legal for collections. 55, 140, 241, 402, 429, 489, 624, 640, 533, 537, 207, 310, 991, 1219, 1478, 9, 73, 556, 743, 753, 767, 913, 1046, 1069, 1084, and 1164.
The motion has to include that these accounts are over 60 days past due, and that is consistent with our recently adopted collections policy.
So the motion, as Jerry read it, with the addition of these accounts are over 60 days due, I entertain that motion.
I'll make that motion.
I need a second.
Second.
Comments from the floor? Seeing none, comments from the board? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. All right, contract for mulch. We had a couple contractors come in, spend quite a few days with us going house to house. We actually had this community broken down into numerous sections. outside perimeter wall, inside perimeter wall, boulevard, around the town center, around the pool, up and down each street, and then common areas, so we could do an à la carte. So the motion I'm asking for the board's consideration tonight is to enter into a contract agreement with A Plus Spreading Incorporated for an amount of $275,189.76 to mulch the entire project except the area up against the inside of the wall. Starting date will be the last week in January of 2019, and the details are here in your packet on that. I need a second on that motion.
Second.
Comments from the floor? Except from Kelly?
So why not do, what did you say wasn't going to be done?
Just up against the wall on the insides where those cocoa plums are, you really can't see it, and it's not necessary to just throw more wasted money against more wasted money. Any other comments from the floor? Seeing none, comments from the board?
Mulch has several functions. One is, of course, the aesthetics, the visibility. The other is weed control. Another is moisture retention. And it does, as it decomposes, it provides nutrients. And have we talked with the landscape committee about the necessity of mulch on the inside wall?
That I have not done, but we had a professor from SFU here. His suggestion was to not mulch anywhere for 18 months. However, his comment about the wall was the wall retains heat, and the mulch will retain heat, and that's actually what's killing some of our cocoa plums for the excess heat. So he recommends not doing any plant that we can avoid doing. So that's why the suggestion is to avoid that. And you notice there's a lot of cocoa plums that are dying out there now. Any other comments from the board?
Yes, I would just like to comment that this is a budgeted item for 2019. This number reflects a savings from the budget. I commend Matt, who's met with this vendor and several other vendors. This is the best program for Village Walk. Thank you for that work, Matt. Just as a reference, Jerry, can you supply us with the 2019 budgeted amount for mulch?
I don't have the 2019 budget at this meeting.
It is an amount that's greater than the 275. And just a procedural question, because it's already budgeted as a line item, is it necessary for the full board to vote on this contract? Because it's already in the budget.
It's not required, but for transparency, we encourage it.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, Bill, it's $300,000 for this year, so we're saving $25,000.
That was my recollection also, Matt. Thank you.
It was $350 last year, so we negotiated down from $350 to $275. We put $300 in the budget, so we're even saving amongst that. With all that said, we had a motion.
Matt, I also have a couple comments.
Go ahead.
But I have the budget sitting in front of me, and as always, you are correct. It is $300,000 for this year. Last year, we had $350,247, so that is quite a savings for us. I wanted to also add that your estimate also includes the pine straw that will be done at the lake beds, just so that everybody understands that that's not being omitted at all. And I wanted to ask if this is a good opportunity for us to put down something under the mulch, some type of weed preventer. You know, preen with weed prevention or something that would help alleviate our need to come around and weed so often throughout the year.
Oh, you brought that to my attention previously, and after talking to PowerX, the price they gave me was $68,000 to put a pre-emergent down first. I think that needs more investigation before we go further, Robin.
Okay, could we do that before the end of January and see if that's feasible?
I doubt that very much, but I'll see what I can do. I'll ask more questions. How's that?
That would be great.
My homework. All right, with that said, we had a motion made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion passed. Security contract, Bruce.
You need a motion to table that till the next month. They have not provided the extension to the 2018 contract.
All right, motion to table that to next meeting. I need a second.
Aye. Oh, aye. I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So we table that for next. Lifestyle credit card limits, Jerry.
Yes, I'm recommending to the board, right now, Noelle Knight, our lifestyle director, has a $5,000 debit card limit. Her monthly expenses, a lot of times are around $10,000. Her annual budget is $109,000. So there's many times she spends $10,000 in a month. And what's happening is a lot of times she can get by. The nature of her expenses are such that she needs a debit card rather than getting terms for payments. And she's able a lot of times to get by on the $5,000. But what happens is when she's at that limit at the end of the month, and that needs to be reconciled, and then a check cut, that period, that gap, if you will, for about a week to 10 days puts the crunch on us. And so I'm recommending the board increase that limit to $10,000. And I would also add that our two board of directors that are signers, Matt and Bill, are able to see the debit card reconciliation on a monthly basis. Noelle fills out a backup for the amount that she put on the card, and it goes through our accounts payable system. And lastly, this will not increase one bit the amount of money she is spending. It will just give her some more flexibility to be able to have that line.
I'll make that motion as Jerry spoke. I need a second.
Second.
Any comments from the floor? Seeing none, comments from the board?
I would like to make a comment. Jerry mentions the lifestyle budget of $109,000 per year. That is not all processed through a credit card. Many of those are direct bills from the vendor that we approve separately. We see the credit card charges that come through, although it's been, the last one that I saw was October. We've still got one pending from September. I think the management company has to be more on top of this so that the information that the board receives is current. I know that there have been some problems with the existing credit card limit, but my understanding is that some of that has been due to the fact that there are glitches in getting the bank paid the amount that is due. I've never seen a charge on expenses greater than $5,000. I can support the motion. I look closely at the expenses, so rest assured on that point. But I think that we have to re-examine the bank we're doing business with and our process for seeing that they're getting paid, which has created some of the problems that we've incurred.
Any other comments from the board? Robin, you have any comments?
I agree with Bill's comments that, you know, we do need to take a closer look at the time it takes to pay, because I think that is a big cause of the problem that we're having. You know, we certainly don't want to hold up Noelle from being able to go out and purchase the materials that she needs to run successful events. So I'm in favor of increasing her limit at this point. We can always come back and revisit it at a future date if we find that it's no longer needed.
All righty. My only comment to this is that I'm in favor of this. If it makes the job simpler and easier, let's move forward with this. Without any other comments from the board, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. Next motion is on accepting a quote for $6,200 from Coastal Outdoor Lighting.
Insurance waivers?
Is that next? All right. Oh, we missed it. My fault, I apologize. Insurance waivers. Jerry.
Yes, I'm requesting the board make a motion to waive the insurance liability requirements for the following entertainers. Dance City School for the event as Kids Dance Performance, and then also Jamie Gakos, Free Music by the Pool.
Just the two?
Right.
I'll make that motion to waive those two events. I need a second.
I'll second.
Comments from the floor? Do you guys understand why we do this? You guys are looking at like their headlights are shining in your face here. Okay. Any comments from the board? Hearing no comments, all in favor, say aye.
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 Motion passed. Next motion is for lighting. I'd like to make a motion to accept a quote of $6,200 from Coastal Outdoor Lighting and approve the work of lighting the Town Center Dome. This fund can come out of the capital resale account. I do believe we'll have a surplus this year, so we can reclassify that at a later date, but I did want to give you guys that option. We had 3 companies come in. Only one provided the expertise. The second company said that they could do the electrical work, but they did not want to spend the time to rent a high lift to get up there. And the third company said if we rented the high lift, they would do the work. But adding the two together, the expense was more and the liability was greater than I thought we should handle. This company will do all the work. They'll bring in their own high lift, and they will light up our main attraction here, which is the dome above the town center and the bird. So with that said, I'd like a second on that motion.
I'll second the motion.
Any comments from the floor? Seeing none, any comments from the board?
Matt, I guess I have 2 comments. And one, we did talk about a little bit yesterday, and that was the fact that some of the residents who live nearby may be disturbed by that lighting. So we should certainly entertain putting a timer on it so that that dome may not be lit up all during the night. The second concern I have is that if it was such an issue to get a lift to install the lights, are we okay with maintaining them? If we have some issues where, lights go out, will we be able to easily replace them, or will this be another huge expenditure?
What I'm told is they can put a ladder up the back to maintain, but to actually install, you have to install them from off the roof, so you need a lift for that. But as far as the timer, Robin, the lights are no brighter than those of the existing clock that are there now, and they'll shine upward, so they won't be shining towards any residents. Any other motion from the board?
Comment.
Comments, rather?
Yes, I have the proposal here, and just to fill everyone in, it involves 8 wall wash lights, 12 feet of copper wire, a photocell, and 8 wall flush mount brackets with the installation and a 300-watt transformer.
Read this line, too.
And the job requires a lift to get to the top of the tower. Electric will be provided by the HOA.
Correct.
My concern is more regulatory concern. I know that Bonita Springs has a dark skies regulation, and I'm wondering if there are any regulations that would prohibit us from shining a light into the sky. That's my only reservation about this. I do think it's a great idea to light the dome. I've had a lot of people ask me for it, and I think it really enhances the look after dark. But my concern, again, is with the regulatory authority.
The comment was 30 watts or less is not under regulatory scrutiny. So these lights will be 30 watts or less.
And will we be getting that in writing from the authority?
I'm sure we can.
Okay.
Any other comments from the board? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
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 Motion carries. Next motion is pallet change. Bill.
Thank you. And I realize those in attendance haven't seen these magnificent colors, but I have them here. They're lighter tones, consistent with what we have in in the community right now. It just increases the range to include some grays, a light blue, and a light green.
Excuse me, let him finish, please.
The board has received a PDF of these, so it's not a surprise to the board. So the motion would be to expand the choice for home body colors with Sherwin-Williams paint colors identified by color code and name, with acceptable gutter, window trim, and door color white, garage doors white, or body color of house with white trim surround. Homeowners may repaint with existing home's color, no two neighboring homes the same color, and agreement by owners under the same roof to paint both sides of the attached home the same colors. The expanded palette is comparable with existing home, paver, and roof colors in all quadrants. The names and code numbers, Sherwin-Williams 0049, which is silver gray, Sherwin-Williams 6079, diverse beige, 7057, Silver Strand, 7507, Stone Lion, 7547, Sandbar, 7551, Greek Villa, 7564, Polar Bear, 7565, Oyster Bar, 7568, Neutral Ground, 7621, Silver Mist, and 7649, Silver Plate. I also have complementary shutter colors. Sherwin-Williams 0005, 0016, 2851, 6223, 6251, 7622, and 6258.
I'd entertain a motion on accepting those color changes, or additions, I say, not changes, but palette additions.
I'd so move.
And I will second that. Hearing a first and second, any comments from the floor?
Yeah, a couple of questions. Joe Ventry from Jewelfish. How many colors do we have currently for houses in the community?
I believe there's 6.
No?
No, actually, it's many more than that, Joe. I've been to the office where there is a notebook kept of the 4 phases within Village Walk and the colors that were used, and it is probably at least 24, but they're varying shades of beige, and not all identifiable by number. So I think that the bottom line is we already have a lot of colors in here, but they go together, and we don't even notice it day to day. Well, these really enhance in that.
One of my comments is, from the colors that you have there, it looks like a lot of them, you know, we're adding 10 new colors, but it looks like a lot of them are just shades of very similar colors. One of the things that you talked about was not allowing 2 adjacent homes to have the same color. But if the color difference is just a shade difference, you're going to wind up with 2 houses next to, you could wind up with 2 houses next to each other that somebody's going to think that's really the same color and one house doesn't look right. I'm wondering, are we just going to too many different variations of the same color and maybe should cut this down to colors that are actually different colors and not just shades of colors?
There still will be a step of ACC approval. They're using this as a guideline in terms of surrounding homes. That's something that they will be looking at in a decision that they'll be making. I think that it is sometimes hard to tell, even if a color is exactly the same with fading and age, the look is different. I think that the thrust of this motion is really to expand from the beiges into some other colors, the light gray, light blue, light green, and that is the real intent of this motion. Yes, there are some other grayish colors, but the town center is a good example of something that's within this palette that was not in the previous palette, which is compatible with everything around it. So it's, you know, when it comes to color matching, there are different suppliers and different numbers, but this provides some cohesion that's not in conflict with what exists currently. And I think that's how we move the community forward.
Okay, thank you.
keep in mind, at some point in time, we'll be doing the roof also, so we'll give the ACC a little more guidance on what roofs are actually approved.
I just have a question. What is your purpose of wanting to do the change? Is your purpose to try to compete with the other surrounding neighborhoods? In other words, to make us look like we're keeping up with the 20th century and getting rid of the yellows and the peach and all that stuff and make us look like more like Valencia and Bonita National and everything? Is that your purpose? The reason I asked that question, if that's your purpose, then why are you keeping the white?
We're not being driven by other communities. This is feedback that we've received from owners who actually have a desire to change the color of their homes, and they have been limited in the past. So we're really responding to that need. Yes, if it makes us more current, if it's some colors that they're offering at Valencia, that's an added value, but that's not what's driving this motion today.
But I bring it a step further. If the people are asking to change their colors, then why are you keeping the white? Why don't you try to blend everything then like they're doing down the street?
We don't want to be like them. We want the options. So if people want to keep their existing colors, they're more than welcome to do so. If they want to make a change, they also have a few options. Right now, there are no options.
Okay, so you want to keep the distinction of the white trim throughout the place with the white gutters and the trim along the garage and everything?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, okay.
That was a part of it, and I think that's the cohesive element where all homes will have the white trim, and we're not looking at dark garage door colors or dark gutters.
Okay.
Which is the reason we have white gutters on this building and not brown.
Yeah, Oliver Tartaglia, Reef Lane, couple of things. Are we going to have a display of the colors out in the town center once you get it done?
I have the large cards right now, and they're available for display. We could determine the best way of doing that. We also have PDF of the
Okay,
fans,
why I say that is, Bill, is being on the ACC, we're going to need the correct language on how we're doing this.
We have it all right here for you.
No, I know, but we're going through the guidelines now. We already went through the guidelines changes to give to you. So we're going to have what you have so we know what we want to put in the guidelines.
He has
in other words, you
for
have colors. That's all well and good. I understand that. But the language on what we have to put for painting the homes and shutters, we're going to have to know all that.
Bill has all that.
Okay, cool. All right.
He'll work with you on
that. And I have had some discussion with Robin also. Okay. She's liaison to your committee.
Correct.
And Robin has provided some feedback on it also. So, we'll work together on it.
Good. Thank you.
Hi, Val.
And Bill, I did have one additional comment on that. I truly appreciate all the work that you and Mary Scanlon have done on this. And you've done an excellent job of researching all the possibilities and listing them out in detail. But is it possible to have one comprehensive list to say, here are all the approved colors, instead of saying, well, refer to the book, here's a separate addendum? I'd like to just see one list saying, here's all the color codes that are acceptable within our community.
Actually, the difficulty of that, Robin, is that some of the existing older home colors predate the color codes that exist today, so it is not possible to be simplified in that manner. Again, it's about 24 colors currently that are in Jerry's book, many of them without numbers or names. It's just swatches of those colors. So that's the challenge before us.
And the ACC.
Us, meaning all of us.
Yeah, because a lot of homeowners, especially when you turn a home over 2 or 3 times, they come asking, well, what color is my house? And it's tough figuring that one out.
Yes, but I think added to that challenge is that people were constrained in the past that they felt they had to keep their house the same color, and we couldn't identify the color. This eases it going forward. These are certainly close to, and it moves it forward. It makes it easier for touch-up painting and follow-up to have known names and numbers on these colors. So then it's just a question of going down the street and identifying it by number and getting another quart of touch-up paint. One other thing that we didn't mention in the motion is that Matt has had some discussion with Mario's Painting. I've had discussions with Sherwin-Williams. There's also a chance of discounts related to bulk buys and really creating value and economy for our owners going forward, which I think is just an added benefit of this whole revision and program.
Back to floor comments. Yes, Val.
Okay, I'm Val Shaha from Zamora Court. 3 real quick questions. Who chose out these colors?
These are, again, colors that we have gone through lists of either
Who's
probably.
we? That's I'm asking
Oh,
who
you just
chose
interrupted me. I was just answering your question. I'm sorry. Mary Scanlon and I have driven the communities. We have gone to communities within this vicinity, and these specifically are colors that were chosen by Pulte Homes, and it's the same palette that's being used at the Tidewater community in Estero right now, adjacent to the Miramar outlets.
Okay, my second question is, I live in an area where every third home is beige, every third home is kind of a peach color, and every third home is yellow. Did I understand that homeowners would have or would not have the option of repainting their original color?
Homeowners absolutely have the right to repaint their home the existing color.
So we won't necessarily, over time, be getting rid of the peach and the yellow?
No, that's not the intent at all.
Okay.
No.
Okay, and then my third, just for clarification, so if I pick one of these colors and do my house, that limits my next door neighbors as to what colors they can choose in the future. So first come gets the first.
Same as now.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, so.
No different than it is right now. Thanks, Val.
So hurry.
Steve Cohen, Reef Lane. Steve Cohen, Reef Lane. The only question I have is, when we first moved here, all of the property the paint was flat. I've noticed now the town center is a satin, I guess you'd call it. It's got a little bit of a gloss to it. Are you going to have some requirement that the homes have to be either flat, satin, doesn't matter?
Well, my understanding, and I'm not an expert on it, is that the exterior colors are a Loxon finish. That's what Sherwin-Williams calls it, which does have a sheen initially, and that wears off over time. I had a 2010 home at one point, and the original paint was, you know, it's not really shiny, but it had this finish, and now it's more dulled. But that is more with age that happens.
But that won't be a requirement. In other words, you're not.
It's not a requirement. We're not looking at finish requirements.
That's fine.
No.
All right.
Do you want a flat one, Steve?
No.
I'm just asking.
No. Actually, I think the one with the sheen actually cleans it better.
It does. It does. Hi, Mark.
Yeah, we've been discussing paints and colors, and all that's well and good, but I'm wondering if we can impose upon the board to maybe go out and search for maybe a number of different painters that could give us a break if we're going to be using or painting 50, 60, 150 homes. Maybe that would be enough to have a painter give us a pretty good deal.
Mario's has already done that, who painted this building. He's familiar with our homes. He's the original contractor that painted all the homes in here, or most of them. And he is willing to give us a bulk price. It takes about 10 homes on the street in order to get that bulk price for him to come in with his crew. You notice how long it took him to do this place, so they could knock out a whole street in about a week.
So he's the one you would recommend us?
Right now, we recommend it only because he has the experience and the expertise of doing it, but we can get other contractors if that's what you guys are interested in doing. If you came to me and said, hey, we got 10 houses and I want to talk to Mario, I'd also have a couple other contractors for you to talk to if you like.
Well, I just want to add to that a homeowner is free to go to whatever painter they want to repaint the home. We also have contacts with the commercial sales division of Sherwin-Williams, so if the homeowner, even if they choose to do it themselves, can get a bulk discount on the paint that they use for their home. So those possibilities are open to us. Really the first challenge, though, is to approve the expanded colors. And I think by expanding the colors, we're motivating more people to paint their homes, because realistically, a lot of homes don't need it yet, but still people want to paint their homes.
Lester?
Robin, I want to question, what the role of the board is here.
Robin, can I interrupt you? This is just for the floor comment now. The board will have comment in a second. Let's finish
But
up
you
the
both
floor.
made comments about negotiating contracts on behalf of the residents, and so I would like to weigh in on that as well, that I don't feel that it is the board's role to negotiate maintenance agreements on behalf of the residents. We don't do it for power washing. We don't do it to get a new roof installed, and I don't think we should be doing it for painting homes because it opens up the door to liability for the HOA.
And that's not part of this motion.
I understand you want pink again, Lester, and you were denied last year, correct?
Not really. I live in the older part of the community,